prone to C, but...
C? So that would be story card 85.
That's your choice? Oh, that's my choice. Someone's sleeping on the cot in the cell, C, with a thin blanket pulled over their face. You can wake the prisoner up so you can talk to him, attack him before he can attack you, or just tiptoe out of the cell. Choose one, then continue. If you try talking to the prisoner, draw a card 67. Clue 67. If you attack the prisoner, proceed with the challenge on the back of this card. If you'd rather leave the cell, go to story card 69.
I kind of want to attack him just because we have a pocket knife.
But what if it's the prisoner who is asking for help?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, let's talk to him. What does it say for talking to him?
67 clue.
Clue 67.
You gently shake the prisoner by the shoulder. He flings the blanket from his face. It's an exhausted-looking man who's obviously relieved that someone has finally come to rescue him. Thank you. I'm Professor Marsden. Marsden, you ask? Are you related to Henry Marsden? Yes. I was the estate of my ancestor, General Marsden. But at the moment, we have more urgent things to discuss. Go to story card 90.
Chapter 3, goal received. Achieved. Professor Marsden looks worried. You have to help me stop my former research assistant, he says. She's twisted our scientific research for evil. So she's responsible for all these chimps, you ask. Yes, he says, but there's something bigger afoot. I'm talking about the alien science.
What?
Marsden says he can provide all the answers you're looking for, but you should first make sure you're prepared to leave this section of the house behind. He can give you explicit directions to important locations if you think you might have missed anything. Story return. There are items in this chapter that will be useful later in the story. You can take a risk and go back for any you missed by following the choices below. Yeah, so you can go back to the biochemistry lab, raise danger meter by 3. Well, they're all raised danger meter by 3 and go to a different story thing. So we can go back to the biochemistry lab, crawl through an air duct to the conference room, go to the printing press room, or head to the generator room. Otherwise, you may advance to chapter 4 and keep all inventory items.
I think we're good.
Alright, we're going to proceed to chapter 4.
The Hideout, chapter 4. After encountering danger outside the house, facing multiple ghosts inside the house, discovering an underground laboratory, and stumbling upon an angry chimpanzee, you're ready to get some answers about this place. The nightmares that brought you here. And the nightmares that brought you here. The mysterious phone call I got this morning. You say, it was you, wasn't it? Phone call? Oh, phone call? What phone call? Wait, it couldn't have found a way to access the phone lines, could it? Professor Marsden's eyes go wide, and then he sees the look on your face and shakes his head. Well, that's not important right now, he says. Something about his tone leads you to suspect that it is indeed important. But you don't push it. If you manage to get this far, you must be a quite aspiring detective and psychic investigator, you add. You go on to tell him about the reoccurring nightmares that drove you to delve into this whole bizarre mystery. Nightmares? He asks. Fascinating. If your dreams mean what I think they do, then I'm glad you're here. I can explain more later, but right now I'm getting the neuron inhibitor mainframe is a crucial thing. It's the only thing to retake the lab from my dastardly former lab assistant, Carol!
Karen!
He says the name in a hoarse whisper. Oh, sorry. Carol.
Karen.
As speaking aloud could summon some ancient evil. Together we discovered a source of technology far beyond anything this world has ever seen. But she betrayed me. She used our work to take control of the chimpanzees and started a counterfeiting ring with local crime syndicate.
What the fuck?
We made scientific discoveries worthy of Einstein, of Galileo, and then she used it all to... He trails off. I'm sorry, I've been locked in here a long time, and here so long that I've forgotten my manners. Now that you've freed me, I can open a secret passage for you that will lead to the neuron inhibitor mainframe. It will take you through the area where our most experimental work was being conducted here. Be careful. It can get dangerous in there. It's just me going? Who's going? You ask with fear in your voice. Yes, he says. I'll need to monitor your progress from the operations room, where I have access to the security system. Here, use this earpiece. We can communicate. Draw clue 91 to discover your goal.
Our goal is disable the neuron inhibitor mainframe. It's not going to focus. The light is not that good.
The clear glass door leads to the temporal manipulation lab, the professor continues. The frosted glass door goes to the psychic development room. The professor takes off for an operations room as a secret passage opens from the empty jail cell next door. The two glass doors are now open before you. Too bad the professor didn't explain which route was the best way to get to the neuron inhibitor mainframe. If you try the temporal manipulation lab, go to story card 96. If you try the psychic development room, go to story card 115.
The psychic development room.
Alright. Psychic development room 115.
This room features several rows of blue metal chairs. Dome-shaped helmets attached to odd-looking devices hang above the chairs. There's also a large glass tube big enough for you to step into with a door on the side. A green button is accessible from inside the tube. You slowly realize you've seen these machines before, in photos in the reference book Ghosts and Ghouls, which you have on your bookshelf back home. The photos were in a chapter about how rogue parapsychologists were attempting to give ordinary people psychic abilities. If you remember correctly, the blue chairs are attached to machines intended to give the subject pyrokinesis, the ability to start fires with mind control. The large glass tube is an energizing chamber that gives people telekinesis, the ability to move objects with one's mind. Both seem ready to go. A metal stairwell on the far side of the room leads to some sort of observation booth, which overlooks the room you're in, and possibly others. So, we can sit in one of the pyrokinesis chairs,
Hell yeah.
enter the telekinesis energizing chamber, or skip this weird equipment and climb the stairs to the observation booth.
We could get psychic abilities. Although we're a psychic investigator.
Not that psychic.
We don't have telekinesis.
So,
I think the chair
what is it gonna be?
would energize us, but I don't know. It's probably...
Well, we got pyrokinesis, the ability to start fires with our mind, and telekinesis, to be able to move objects with our mind. Or we can just leave. Which one will it be? Fires, moving objects, or just leave?
Fire!
Alright, that would be story card 117.
Alright. As soon as you sit down on the cold metal seat, a dome helmet drops onto your head and begins renewing your neural pathways rewiring your neural pathways to activate mysterious, previously untapped portions of your brain. It's fun! And more importantly, it gives you the ability to create fires with simple thought. Creating fire is easy, but actually controlling it is a different story. In fact, once you realize you've lit your shirt ablaze, All your panic attempts to diminish the flames of your mind only create more of them, and you burn yourself up in mere seconds. Move back 2 spaces on the psychic scale, and return to story card 115.
Damn.
I thought a fire would be the way.
We got roasted.
All right, I guess.
Telekinesis.
Okay. Story card 106.
106.
You enter the energizing chamber and shut the door. You press the green button on the interior wall, and the room goes dark, while the large glass tube emits a blinding white light, forcing you to cover your eyes with your hands. You can feel the machine rewiring your neural pathways to activate mysterious, previously untapped portions of your brain. The pain is horrible. Part of you thinks that you can just endure the pain a little longer. Ultimate, unlimited mental powers might be unlocked. Another part of you is concerned that you might literally explode. Premonition. If you are level 4 or higher on the psychic scale, draw clue 39.
Nope.
If you stay energized in the energizing chamber and work through the pain, draw clue 98. If you can't take it and get out of the chair, draw clue 103.
Is it a challenge or?
No, you can just stay
you
in
can
the
choose?
You can choose to stay in the chair and endure the pain.
Or just leave.
Or you can just get up.
Endure the pain.
Alright, 98.
Clue 98.
Telekinesis! You now have the power to move things with your mind. You think about this as you run for the observation booth. Once per challenge, you can raise the danger meter by 2 to re-roll a die. Keep this item. Move forward 1 space on the psychic scale and go to story card 99.
The observation booth has thick windows that look down into a circular chamber, where you see a human-sized chimp in a hospital gown sitting at a table. The poor animal's head is shaved and hugely swollen. Electrodes are attached to pulsing veins. The chimp is gazing intently at a small wooden boat which is floating in midair above the table. The chimpanzee sees you, and the moment his eyes meet yours, you start to black out. You break eye contact just before losing consciousness and decide you'd better exit this room quickly. Next to a fire extinguisher on the wall is a map, which gives you a quick overview of this area. You orient yourself and see that the observation booth is next to the cryogenics lab and the supercomputer room. We could go to the cryogenics lab or check out the supercomputer room.
Supercomputer? Because we're trying to get to the inhibitor thing?
Yeah, so story card 109.
As soon as you enter the room, the computer lights up. Present your credentials. A digital voice demands, "It must be the computer." You mutter something about being the new lab assistant. I judge that to be false. You have come here seeking answers. My memory banks contain all the information you desire, but access is forbidden.
What?
You don't see a keyboard, so apparently voice commands are the only way of interacting with this thing. Unless, of course, you can best me in a competition of my choosing. The computer continues. Be wary, human. No flesh creature has ever defeated me and my limitless mind.
Oh, yeah?
Optional free action. If you agree to compete with the supercomputer, draw clue 97. So do we want to compete with the supercomputer?
Yes.
Yes?
We're telekinetic now. There's 97?
Yes. A compartment opens in the computer's casing, and a robotic arm extends from inside it.
What?
The supercomputer wants to arm wrestle you.
What?
Required challenge. Arm wrestle the supercomputer. Win? Draw clue 102. Lose? Raise the danger meter by 1 and try again. So we have to beat it until we do it.
Alright. So that's a 3 or higher. We did it. We got a 5.
Draw clue 102. Quantum synthesis stabilizer. You defeat the supercomputer and gain access to the files. One is a diagram of a rod-shaped device called quantum synthesis stabilizer.
We have a large metal rod.
If you have clue 39,
which we do.
We do. Keep this item and move forward 2 spaces on the psychic scale. Okay, now we gotta finish story card 109. There are 2 doors leading out of the supercomputer room. You start to open one door, and the computer shouts, "Do not enter. Do not attempt to enter the armory." You start to open the other door, and the computer shouts, "Do not attempt to enter the observatory." This computer may be pushy, but it's also quite informative. So if you take the observatory door, go to story card 108. If you take the armory door, go to story card 94.
Armory door.
Armory. Alright, 94.
You enter the armory. The door closes behind you, and then you hear it lock automatically. The room is nearly empty, and you realize with a shudder that whatever weapons are usually kept here are probably in the hands of people, or chimps, roaming the halls outside. The only thing left is a massive artillery gun mounted on a swivel in the center of the room. There are also a bunch of lockers lining one wall if you'd like to search through them. Optional challenge, search the lockers. Do we want to do this?
What's the danger? If we search them, do we...
If we win, we draw a clue. If we lose, we range the danger meter and we can try again if we want.
Let's try to search them.
Alright. Search it. We're not level 3 or higher, so... we do have this. Alright. So, 3 or higher? Boom! We got a 5. So, draw clue 92. Hypersonic isotropic resonator. You find a tech catalog with details on an object called a hypersonic isotropic resonator. If you have clue 87, which we don't, if you do not have clue 87, discard this card and finish story card 94.
Aww.
There's a door here, and you can see through its window that it leads into a stairwell. Unfortunately, this door is locked. The artillery gun you found has a shell in it, though, so you could probably blast your way through. As a matter of fact, why limit yourself? With that thing, you could probably get through the wall opposite the door. Instant shortcut. So we can blow a hole through the door to the stairwell, or blow a hole through the wall.
I'm gonna go door because we'd have an easier... That's stupid, my reason. I was like, we'd have an easier chance of blowing a door off than a wall.
Technically, that's true. So, gotta blow the door off to the stairwell. Story card 108.
You go up a long flight of stairs that leads to an observatory where you find Professor Marsden staring at the stars. How did you get here first, you ask? It's my fault. It's all my fault, he murmurs sadly, lost in thought. We reached out to the stars, and they reached back. But when the creature made contact, we got greedy and captured him for further study. I fear your nightmares mean he's sending out telepathic messages in hope of being rescued. If you want them to end, you must set the creature free. This is why, the professor continues, we need to take back the compound from Carol, disable the neuron inhibitor mainframe controlling the chimpanzees, and free the alien ambassador. Carol watches over the mainframe constantly, he continues, so you'll be heading into great danger. Make sure you're fully prepared before you move on. There's a hallway to the mess hall and back door that leads outside the house. Story return. If you'd like to go back for anything you missed, make a choice below. You can head to the temporal manipulation lab.
Let's move on.
Okay, we're moving on.
Moving on to the next chapter, the final chapter.
All right. So if
We're
you go
decked out.
if you try the mess hall, go to 119. If you leave the house through the back door, go to story card 101.
Oh, no. Oh, that's continuing? There's like options for continuing?
Yeah.
What are the options?
So there's the mess hall, and then there's if you want, you can head out, leave the house through the back door, and so